Hello and welcome to this Granny Pentagon beginner's crochet tutorial. In this tutorial we will be making a 5-sided granny. You will be excited when you do this. Here are our tools. We're using our crochet hook, a size G 4.00 millimeter hook. We have a tapestry needle with a large eye so that you can put yarn through it. I have a pair of scissors, and here are the yarn choices that I'm using. This one, I'm on my 7th or 8th granny tutorial, so my yarn supply is running very low. But this is Michael's Impeccable in the color Butterscotch. Lion's Brand Vanna Choice in the color Fern. And Red Heart Super Saver in the color White. Before I begin any crochet project, I like to remove some yarn from my skein so that way I can make sure that there are no tangles and that my tension will be helping me to create uniform and even looking stitches. I pull out maybe 3 feet of yarn and I'll have it in a small pile that I can control in front of me. Let's begin our tutorial. We're going to be starting with a magic circle, but before we have our magic circle we need to have a tail. I usually start with one about 8 inches. The reason being is because we want our tapestry needle to be able to sew in those tails when our crochet work is complete. We want to have at least 2 to 3 times the length of the needle as a tail, so that way the needle will have enough room to weave in and out of the back of the stitches. So to begin our magic circle, we'll place the yarn between my 2 fingers. I'm going to wrap it around until we have like an X. Place your thumb on top of that X, and then take your crochet hook and go under the first one, and with your hook aiming down, pull up the second one. Then go underneath that second one again and go through that loop, okay? And then grab both sides of the magic circle and that third one and tighten that loop that's on that magic circle up, okay? If your tail is twisted, go ahead and untwist it. And then I like to wrap the yarn around my fingers to help control the tension. So I'm going to go between my ring finger and my little finger and wrap it to the front, and then go in between my finger and my second finger and bring it over the top and twist my hand back down. This will help control the tension that I'm going to be putting on my hook. The area between my hook and my finger is the work area. So when you wrap it around, you're wrapping around in that work area. Now there are many other ways of doing crochet. This is the way I prefer, so I am making this suggestion for you. So let's begin our tutorial. We're going to chain 3 with 1 loop on our hook. We're going to wrap our hook, and notice how I'm twisting it around and bring it through that loop. If you do not twist your hook, if you keep it with the hook aiming up, you have a tendency of taking the loop or not bringing it through at all. So if you bring it down, because most tension is made so that you raise the hook up, it'll go through a lot smoother. Okay, so we have 1 chain. Let's wrap it around again. Now we have 2. One more time, chain 3. This chain 3 will count as 1 double crochet, a stitch I will show you how to do in just a second. The reason being is because the height of a double crochet is about the same as the height of chain 3 and the width that the chain makes as well. So to make our double crochet, let's place our finger on top of the loop that's on our hook, go into our work area and wrap the hook around the yarn. Now bring that hook down inside the circle, come back to the work area and pull up the yarn until you have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to take the hook and go back through the work area and pull it through 2 loops, and work area, pull it through 2 loops the second time. So that's how we have the double crochet, because you're pulling it through 2 times. Let's do it one more time. Finger on the loop, wrap it around the hook, through the center, come back, bring up, you have a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. This is going to be one group, or known as one granny. The chain 3 does count as a pretend double crochet, but we have here 2 completed double crochets. Okay, let's chain 1, and now we're going to do 3 double crochets inside the center of our circle here. So finger on the loop, yarn over in the work area, through the center of the circle, come back to the work area, bring the yarn forward and pull up a loop. Yarn over through the first 2 loops on the hook, yarn over through the second 2 loops on the hook. Okay, so we have 1 double crochet in this second group that we're making. Let's do this again. Finger on that loop, wrap it around, through the center, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. One more time, and this will complete our group. Notice how I didn't say anything. How did you do? Okay, we now have 3 grannies in our second group. We have 3 more groups to make. So yarn over, we're going to chain 1. Okay, finger on the loop, yarn over, the hook goes inside the circle to the working area, come back, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, let's try this again. The yarn over, hook in the center, bring back a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. We have 2 grannies. Let's go for our third one. So here we have 3 sets, 3 groups of 3 double crochets with a chain 1 in between. Okay, so at the end of this 3 double crochets we need a chain 1 again. Okay, if your tail starts to twist, let's go ahead and untwist it. Okay, let's do 3 more double crochets into the center of the circle. I hope that you had a chance to see the other granny tutorials that I have in this series. All these different shapes can be used for future projects, and I have a few in mind. Hopefully they'll be of interest to you. Okay, I've completed 3 double crochets for our 4th set or group or our 4th granny. We're going to chain 1, and we got 1 more to do. Okay, how are you doing on them double crochets? Okay, let's go over them one more time. Finger on the loop on the hook, yarn over in the working area, take the hook, go through the center of the circle, come back to the working area, hook aiming down, bring up a loop, yarn over, twist your hook, go through the 2 loops on the hook, yarn over through the 2. Okay, we got 1. Let's do 2 more. There's 1, and there's 2. Okay, so I'm going to pull my hook out so you can see. I'm going to separate them. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing you what, so that you can recognize what we need. Okay, so we need 5. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, let's place our hook back in there, snug it up. Now, instead of doing any kind of crochet right now, we're going to take our magic circle and we're going to pull it closed. So place your finger and your thumb on the 5th granny and take your other hand and grab your tail and then pull. Pull, pull, pull. Don't pull so that the thread breaks, just pull it so it's snug. Okay? Your circle will not be tight, tight, but it will be small. Okay? Now, because we're going to be going up, I'm not going to chain stitch. We're going to place a single crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. So how do you find the 3rd chain? Well, this pretend double crochet has completed chain stitches. So you can see the loops on the outside from the center around. Okay, so we got 1, 2, and here's our 3rd one right here. So take your hook, go through the center, and pick up the 2 parts of that chain. So you have 2 loops on your chain from that chain stitch. Okay, yarn over and pull up a loop. Now to complete the single crochet, we're going to go yarn over and go through the 2. That's a single crochet. Now that we have completed row 1, we're going to go to row 2. Now to get up in height, do you remember what we have to do? That's right, we need to chain 3. 1, yarn over into the work area, 2, yarn over and pull through that loop, there's 3. And this will count as a pretend double crochet again. Now to go under our single crochet, you'll notice that when I separate it, we do have that one from going and creating the single crochet. You want to go under that as well. Okay, so finger on the loop on the hook, wrap it around, go under, and in that space bring up a loop, go through 2 and go through 2. Okay, and this is what we have so far. Alright, let's move on. I'm going to take that 1 double crochet, we're going to slide it over. I'm right-handed, so it's going to my right. Oh, look, I need more yarn. Don't forget that as you go along to pull out some yarn so that you can be ready like I'm supposed to be ready for you. Okay, so I have my little pile out here. In this same space, we're going to place another double crochet. So, finger on the loop, yarn over, go through the space, pull up a loop, go through two, go through two, and then slide it over. Okay, and then chain one. Now in the same space, we're going to place another 3 double crochets. Okay, this is what's going to help create a corner, because these spaces that we have here are designed to have 2, and so in order for our pentagon to get wider, we will put 2 in here. So we're going to place another 3 double crochets into this same space. So wrap it around, go through 2, go through 2, wrap it around, pick up a loop, go through 2, go through 2. Okay, and one more time. Alright, so I have 3, chain 1, and 3, all in that one space. Oh, how did we do that? It's easy, right? Okay, let's slide over the 3 double crochets, and here we have our next space with the chain 1. That's where we're going to place our next 2 groups or 2 grannies. So finger on the loop, yarn over into that space, draw up a loop, go through 2, go through 2. Now if you get ahead of me, that's okay, keep right on going. Okay, so I have 1, here's 2, and here's 3. Remember to chain 1 in between, and then slide them all to the right. Okay, see what we have so far? You see how it's separating the look in the center of our center grannies there. Okay, so we have 1 on our second set. We have 2, and here's number 3. Okay, and then chain 1. And you can see how it's already starting to form one side of the 5 that we need to create a pentagon. Okay, skip the next 3 stitches, or our 1 granny, and in that chain 1 space we're going to place another 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. So I have 1, 2 double crochets, here's 3, chain 1. Slide your work over. We're going to place 3 more. 1, 2, and 3, and chain 1. And take a look at what you have. Okay, you can see how it's starting to create another side to our pentagon. Okay, so we have 2 more left. I'm going to stop the video. Go ahead and place the 2 grannies in here with the chain 1 in between, And remember to chain 1 before you do your second set. When you get to the end, do not attach to this, do not chain on that last set, and I will meet you there to show you how to finish this row. Alright, I know yours looks just like mine. You see how we have our 5 sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so let me show you how to finish it. We're going to change colors after this. Normally we have chained 1 in between our spaces. Well, this time we're going to place in a slip stitch, and this slip stitch will give us about the same width as a chain. So to do a slip stitch, we want to count to the 3rd chain of the chain 3, so at the top, and then go through the 2. You want to pull up a loop, and after you pulled up that loop, take that same loop and go through the loop that was on your hook. And you see how it gives us that little gap that we need there? Okay, so let's cut our yarn with a little tail, and then we're going to yarn over and go through that loop and then tighten it up. And here we go. That is our little pentagon. I'm going to be using yellow for my next color, so whichever color you choose is fine. And let's move on. Now, before we move on, we want to solve the matters of our magic circle in the center. You'll notice that our tail comes out the back side. If you look at the stitches, it has more involved than it does on the front. The front seems to be smoother and show more uniformity than it does on the back. That's how you can tell the front from the back or the right from the wrong. Okay? So let me show you how to thread your needle. Here I have a tapestry needle, which is also designed for yarn. So place your yarn between your 4 fingers like this, make it kind of taut, and then bring the needle up and fold it over the yarn over the needle, and then pull it out. You'll notice that we'll have a little loop here. Go ahead and take that little folded part of the yarn and work it through the eye of your needle, and then make it so that you have a tail just coming out of the bottom of the needle like that. Okay, so our magic circle has opened up since we've worked it. Go ahead and take it and pull it, but don't pull it so tight that it could possibly break the yarn. So I've pulled mine, so I've tightened it down. Now where it came out at, for me, is going to go clockwise. So I'm going to go in between the back or the center of these, the bottom of these double crochet stitches. We have to do this because if you cut your magic circle tail without finding some way of stopping it from coming out, everything that you've done in the center will come apart. So let's go ahead and go through all of these one time. You can go through them 2 or 3 times if you wish. Okay, let's see. I think I'm there already. Okay, so now if you want, you can also pull it a little bit tighter and it'll make that circle just a little bit smaller. Now, what I usually do is I go over one stitch or one piece of yarn, and then I'll go back, I'll go counterclockwise. I'll go back in the other direction. And what this does is it'll help lock this tail to stay in. Okay? And then I'll go over one and then through the center of these stitches again. Okay? We will be doing this again, and that'll be towards the end when we've completed. We're going to be doing 5 rows for our pentagon. So we're going to do 2 more rows with the yellow and 1 with the green. Okay, so here's our completed little pentagon for the row 1 and row 2 and sewing in of our magic circle. Now, as before, don't forget to pull some yarn out. Okay, now we're not going to be starting with a magic circle. We're going to be doing a slip knot at this time. And to do a slip knot, you want to have your little tail, wrap it around your finger. You can put your hook under that loop and then draw it up. Take your finger out of that loop and just tighten it. Bring everything tightened on the hook. Now these 2 that we stuck in are considered corners. Okay, the one in between is not a corner, and it's always good, in my opinion, to start at a corner. It can also help hide your chain stitches, or you can change colors there, whatever you choose to do. So at a corner where it has 2 grannies in the one space, we're going to go through the center where that chain 1 is, and we're going to pick up our yellow or your color and draw up a loop, and then take that loop and go through the loop that's on your hook and tighten it down. Okay, and then chain 3. We need the height for the double crochet, so yarn over through the loop, yarn over through the loop 3 times, and then you can slide it over. And here we're going to place 2 grannies, which for a total of 6 double crochets. And remember, our chain 3 is a pretend double crochet, so we already got 1. Here we're doing number 2 and number 3. Okay, and now we're going to chain 1. And slide your work over, yarn over, go through 2, go through 2. There's 1, yarn over into the space, pull up a loop, go through 2, go through 2. That's 2. We need 1 more. Okay, and chain 1. Oops. Even though I pull it out, sometimes sometimes it wants to have fun with me and play the little game. Okay. Now, to make our granny wider, we have a space here which will be considered our increase. So from this corner, before we get to the next corner, we're going to increase it by 1. Now you've already have your chain 1, so we're going to place 3 double crochets or 1 granny in this space. This also begins our repeat. Okay, when we chained 1 here, our repeat began here, and I'll show you why in just a second. Because with the chain 3 here, that cannot be considered a repeat, because a chain 3 cannot be made over here unless we cut our yarn and start the same way, and we're not going to. So our repeat started with the 3 double crochets, the chain 1. Now we're going to skip those 3 double crochets because there's 2 here, and we know that in the center, this corner, we're going to place 2 sets or 2 grannies. So here we got 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1. Okay? So here we've made our increase, but here's also where we start our repeat. 3 double crochets, chain 1. In the next space, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and in the same space, 3 double crochets and chain 1. This is our repeat, the 3 double crochets and the corner. So to repeat that again, we're going to do it in this space and in this corner, and then repeat it again in this space and in this corner. Okay, so this repeat is going to be 1, 2, 3 more times. When you get to this 3 double crochets, that's not part of the repeat, that's going to be separate. So when you finish your corner, I'm going to meet you there, and then I'll show you how to finish this row, and then we're going to build up to the next row. So continue around, make your repeat of 3 double crochets in the next space, that'll be in between your corners, and then at your corner you're going to make 2 grannies, or 2 sets of 3 double crochets with a chain 1 in between. So I'll see you in just a second. Looks good, doesn't it? I know you're liking what you've created as well. Let's continue on. Okay, we've completed the 3 repeats. We now have one more space that would be our increase for this side of our pentagon. So 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Alright, now to build up to our next row, do you remember how we did it for our white yarn? Okay, we're going to count up to the top of the 3rd chain. We're going to insert our hook into the center of that chain. We're going to pull up a loop, and we're going to make a single crochet. So yarn over and through the 2 loops on your hook. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start our 2nd row of yellow. Chain 3, because we need the height for a double crochet. And then in the same space, which is going to be our increase space, we're going to add 2 more double crochets. There's 1, and there's 2, and chain 1. Okay, we'll be sewing in our ends later on, but there we go. So we've built up 1. Our next, after our chain 1, we're going to go into the center here of this corner and place 2 grannies into this place here. One, 2, 3, chain 1, slide your work over, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Okay, of course I need more yarn. Okay, so let me show you what we're going to do next. Now you notice here, I said this is going to be our repeat. So you notice here we have a space on either side of our yellow. That means we're not going to do just one, we're going to do two sets here, or two grannies in between our corners here. So now we're going to add 3 double crochets in this space, chain 1, and 3 double crochets in the second space. When we get over here where we have 2 grannies in one space, we're going to add the 2. So you can see how our pentagon is starting to get larger. Go ahead and do that, and go all the way around until you come up to here. You can do the 3 double crochets and then stop, and I'll show you how to finish this, and we'll go on to our next color. Alright, how are you doing? I have not completed my row yet, but I did want to point out, you see how we have 2 sets of the 3 double crochets with a chain 1 in between. Okay, continue on and I'll meet you at the end of this row. Aren't we having fun? But soon this fun is gonna come to an end, and you can think about things that you might want to do with this pentagon here pretty soon. So let's complete this row, and we're going to do a slip stitch like we did with the white. So count up to the 3rd chain, insert your hook in the center, pull up a loop, and that loop you just pulled up, go ahead and pull it through the loop that was on your hook. And we're going to cut us a tail and yarn over and pull through that tail. Or I should say pull that tail through the loop. And here we go. I have one more color left. At the end of this video I'm going to offer a little bonus. I have long hair. I shouldn't be picking my hair out of, but I do. It happens. A little piece of me gets woven into everything I make. Anyway, at the end of this video I'm going to show you how to make a star from the first 2 rows. So that'll give you something to look forward to. So on our 3rd row we're going to add our green. So go ahead and get your green or your 3rd row color ready, and we'll start in just a second. As we did before, let's have a little tail. We're going to start with a slip knot. So wrap it around your finger and take your hook and go under that one and pull the loop. Oops, my hook didn't catch it that time. Pull it up, take your finger out of the loop and tighten it up, and then tighten it onto your hook. Now, do you remember where our corners are at, right? We had 2s, 2 in each one, so we're going to start at a corner. It doesn't matter where you start at. All these ends do get woven in, so you could start at this one, this one, this one. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to start at this one because it's closest to where I picked up. So insert your hook into that chain 1 space and draw up a loop, and then take that loop and go right through the loop that's on your hook, and then tighten it up a little, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now do you remember what we're supposed to do now? That's right, we place 2 grannies in this corner space, and each granny consists of 3 double crochets. If you've been with me this whole time making these things, I hope that you have learned something from it. Each one of the videos does offer a little bit of tidbit information, especially the hexagon one. I think I added too many stitches in one space. So I gave you some suggestions on how to block it, even though I didn't demonstrate it. Sometimes when you do have too much stitching in one area, it will cause your work to ripple, but you can work with it and make it so that it does go flat again. So we're doing our second granny in this corner. Here's 2 and here's 3. Chain 1. Alright, now you notice on this particular row we have 2 single grannies, but we also have 3 holes. 1, 2, 3. This is our increase. Okay, so we're going to be placing 3 sets of 3 double crochets with chain 1 in between each one along this before we get to our corner. Okay, so we've got 1 done, chain 1. Here's our second one. Two and 3, chain 1, and then we're going to do our third one. One, 2 and 3 and chain 1. Okay, so you know where our repeat starts. Our repeat starts after this chain 1. So we got 1, 2, 3, and then in this corner we're going to be placing the corner granny, the 2 sets or 2 grannies. So many things to think about when making a granny crochet, huh? So we got a chain 1, slide it over, and 3 more into that one space. And that completes that one repeat, and you can continue on with it as you go around chain 1. Okay? So here's what I have so far. Keep going all the way around till you get here. I'll show you how to finish it. After you complete this, I'm going to have a little bonus for you on how to make a pentagon star from the first 2 rows. So after you complete this, I'll suggest to you to pause the video and we'll do this again, or I'll refer you to the beginning of the video and you can do the first 2 rows, and then we'll make a star. Okay, it can be used at Christmas time, can be used for 4th of July, can be used anytime you want. So go ahead and complete this and I'll see you in just a second. Alright, our pentagon looks pretty good now, doesn't it? Okay, so to finish this row here, we're going to slip stitch into the top, chain 3, pull up a loop, pull it through. Let's get our scissors and cut, and pull it through. Okay, so here we have our pentagon. Now don't forget, we need to weave in our ends, so we want to take it and go in the corners. Here's the corner. You can bring this one over and go into a corner, and the green into a corner. Okay, so stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to make a star using the same first 2 rows, and on our 3rd row we'll do something different. If you want to use these same colors, that's fine. I think I'm going to use white, yellow, and then the 3rd one will be green. So join me for that. If you need to, pause the video and let's get started. Now, since I've already shown you how to do it, I'm not going to do it too slow. So we want to start up with our magic circle and chain 1. Okay, so once you get your magic circle organized, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, Okay, and we're going to do the 2 double crochets. 1, 2. I guess you can tell they're doing road work outside of my house. Okay, so after we do the 3, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, chain 1 for a total of 5 sets of 3 double crochets, and I'll meet you when you get your 5th set done. Okay, after getting your 5 sets on, let's tighten our magic circle. And you're going to be placing a slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 so that we can change colors. We will weave in the magic circle when we have completed the star. Okay, so I'm going to pull that just a little bit tighter. Alright, so let's move on to our second color. With a slip knot on our hook, we're going to find a chain 1 space between the 3 double crochets and then chain 3. Okay, and in this space we're going to add 2 grannies, and then in each space around, so you have a total of 5 double crochets with 2 corners in each space. Go ahead and do that. Okay, so this is the end of row 2. Remember, you had to have chain 1 between each one. So we're going to slip stitch in the top of chain 3. We have one more color, one more row. So with your last color, start with a slip stitch, a slip knot on your hook, and let's get ready to move on. Alright, let's start in the corner. I'm going to go ahead and go through it, draw up a loop, and through that same loop that's on our hook, chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to make our corner 2 grannies, chain 1 in between, now can you guess what's next? Okay, chain 1. So what are you going to do to make our star a star? Do you know? Okay, in this next space right here, we're going to do a single crochet. So with your finger on your loop, go through your space, pick up your working yarn, and draw up that loop. Okay, yarn over and through the 2, and that's a single crochet. Chain 1. Now in your next corner, we're going to create another corner. Okay, now you can tell we've already started our repeat, the single crochet in our corner. So 2 grannies in this corner with a chain 1 in between, and 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Okay, we're just going to start another repeat. Got our single crochet, our corner. We're going to single crochet again and chain 1. Okay, continue around till we get to this last single crochet, and I'll show you how to finish it. I bet you didn't know so many things could be made from so many shapes, huh? Okay, well, to finish our little star here, Do not chain one after the last single crochet. We're going to count up to the top of the chain 3, insert our hook, pull up a loop, and make that loop go right through, and then we're going to cut our yarn. Nice thing about this little star is that even though it's done on a pentagon, it looks like a circle in the center, doesn't it, with a little star. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. As you can tell, I haven't woven in my ends yet on both of them. And I hope to see you again on another, sorry I moved the camera, hope to see you again on another tutorial. I really enjoy doing these, and I think the art of crochet should be shared and encouraged, especially for future generations. So come back and see me sometime. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much, and have a great day.